Check this out, guys. The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Phillies AAA team, put up a billboard that says, quote, "If King James really wants to catch MJ, he needs to spend a season in minor league baseball. Choose the Iron Pigs this summer. Hashtag Lehigh Valley wants LeBron." Listen, brilliant. It's true.
Listen, a lot of...
It's true.
Everyone's going after LeBron there, and this is the best way to get on these types of shows, right? Like, you put up a billboard, and I don't know if otherwise you'd be talking about Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Well, they do it for marketing, don't they?
Yeah, they invested some money. They got a billboard there, but the chances of it, the chance of him catching Jordan, just not really are there. So, you know, if you want to, maybe you like hyperbole.
Listen, maybe you'll flip-flop on LeBron Jordan like you did Rockets Warriors, or like you're about to. I see it coming. In about 8 minutes, you're going to pick the Warriors.
The Warriors have 3 seasons, working on the 4th season. The Rockets have 7 months. Michael Jordan, I actually met him when he was 17 years old.
Oh, okay.
All right, happened to be at a basketball camp, just happened to be there. So I think that I was on the ground and was able to witness for myself.
Yeah. Maybe a little bias there. Maybe a little personal bias, maybe a little nostalgia bias.
You know what you're always biased to?
What?
What you see for yourself.
Right. I totally agree.
So I've seen them all.
A little sleight of hand there, Chris Carter. Well done, sir. I'd say you boxed me in, but you did.
Time for some stories to start your morning. Hey, Nick, how about your Chiefs? Second-year quarterback Pat Mahomes came out and said that he and Kareem Hunt can have a great dynasty with the Chiefs. By the way, the Chiefs have not been to the Super Bowl since 1970. Nick, what are realistic expectations for the Chiefs this year?
He's totally right. Little do you know that in Kansas City, we consider a dynasty consecutive years of winning a playoff game. Because we haven't done that in 25 years. So, yeah, all you got to do is get to the divisional round back-to-back years, and we will build you a statue. Go do it, Kareem. Go do it, Mahomes. I have faith in you.
My thing with Pat Mahomes, these young players, they don't know what they're talking about. No. The guy didn't even win a conference championship in college football. Now he's going to come to the NFL. I'm going to be a dynasty?
Dynasty. Dynastic.
Let's try to win your division. Yeah. Maybe try to win a playoff game.
I would take that. How about we just don't blow 20-point leads to the Titans?
Cowboys defenseman Randy Gregory, he's not upset. Nick Wright, is reportedly going through the steps to apply for reinstatement in the NFL. The league suspended Gregory in January of 2017 for at least a year after violating the substance abuse policy. Stacey, how much will it mean to the Cowboys if Gregory can get back on the field?
Oh, it'll mean a great deal. You're talking about pure talent here, Jenna. He's a guy that can rush the passer. You're talking about a guy 24, 25 years old. If he can get you 10 sacks a game, because that's his ability. If he lives up to his potential. And then also, at this point in my life, 27 and a half years ago, very, very similar story. Struggling with substance abuse. I'm pulling for him. I've talked to Roger Goodell personally about guys like him, and we want to see Randy Gregory and others be able to get control of their life, a lot like I did. So I tried to help him with the tools. I have been associated with him. I have been in contact with him over his journey, and I have recently written a letter to the NFL on his behalf, hoping for his reinstatement.
And you wouldn't have, I'll give you my time here, you wouldn't have done that if you didn't believe he was truly committed and going through the steps. Doesn't mean he won't backslide. People have setbacks, but you really believe he's committed to getting healthy.
Man, he's making every effort, and we need to start treating alcohol addiction all the same as cancer, all right? It's a disease. They need help. If he had cancer, we would get him all the help, and if he relapsed, if it came back, we would get him more help. And that's what people with addiction, that's what they need, and that's the support that they need.
All right, moving on. The matchup we all anticipated out west, the one that'll make us East Coasters stay up way past our bedtime. Warriors and Rockets slated for Monday night. Rockets haven't won a championship since 1995. Married with Children was still on TV the last time the Rockets won a championship, you guys. The Warriors have won 2 in the last 3 years. You knew that one?
I knew that one.
Why do you think I picked it? I'm learning slowly.
Put it by the rim.
Golden State's head coach Steve Kerr is aware of the advantage, the experience, and the hardware his team has.
I like where we are. Our guys have rings. That's a good position to be in. To me, the hardest championship is the first one, as an individual player and as a team, because you don't know. You don't quite know if you can do it. once you get the first one, there's a little bit of house money, but you want it again because it's an unbelievable feeling. So I like our position. We're going to go in here knowing we're the defending champs, knowing we've got a couple championships here the last few years. Let's go get another one.
All right, Nick, how important is it for the Rockets to get off on the right foot and win Game 1?
If they're going to win this thing, I think they almost have to win Game 1. I have picked the Rockets to win in 7. I have not been swayed by the fact that Vegas thinks they're a heavy underdog, that the C.J. McCollum out here was, I mean, he audibly guffawed when I said Rockets in 7. Most of the people that I know that are in the NBA, or whether it be coach, GM, player, I've only found 2 that aren't getting paid by the Rockets, that are picking the Rockets. I'm still going to stick with them, but they got to win Game 1. It's not quite a must-win, but when you work that hard for 65 wins, when you work that hard all season, and you see the team that you are admittedly, quote, obsessed with, unquote, really cruise through the regular season. If you let them take home court advantage from you in the first game, everything you worked for and everything they cruised away from, essentially, mentally, it's devastating. Also, it changes the math. Now you don't got to beat them 4 out of 7. Now you got to beat them 4 out of 6. A team that... And so for all those reasons, I think it is critical the Houston Rockets Monday night find a way to win Game 1.
I think it's interesting, too, to watch Golden State. What would they do if they were down? All right? We know they have the experience, but they're not used to this. They're not used to starting a series on the road. Right, Nick? Where they don't have home court advantage.
Hasn't happened once in this run.
So let's start them down 1-0. I believe game number 1 is critical for Houston. I believe Nick is right. When you start looking at the percentages, if they lose that, not just because of the numbers, but from a confidence standpoint. Their coach, what's his history? Coming up short. Chris Paul, never been to the conference final. Coming up short. James Harden been to the finals once against LeBron. Won 1 game and then got swept after that. Right. Gentleman's sweep, 4 in a row. So all the 3 components there have come up short on the biggest stages. So the confidence that Golden State would have, I think they're already going into the series with confidence, but if they were to win game number 1, I believe the series is basically a wrap.
And the flip side is Houston does believe. Houston believes in the 50-5 record they have with Harden, CP3, and Capella.
Yeah.
They believe in how important it is that they are fully healthy. Organizationally on down, they don't think they're a 1-in-10 shot to beat Golden State. They truly believe this is a coin flip series that they can win. If they win Game 1, it's confirmation of that. And if they and by the way, then all of a sudden, if they win Game 1, if Houston wins Game 1, then we are talking about Game 2 in a way we haven't talked about Golden State at all. Oh, all of a sudden they got to win Game 2. Because what they can't do is fall down 0-2, even though it would be, oh, the series doesn't start until a team wins on the road. You're not beating a team 4 out of 5 in Houston. You're not beating Houston 4 out of 5 if you're down 2-0. It's just not happening. So then all of a sudden the pressure shifts entirely to the Warriors if the Rockets win Game 1, seeing what they can do in Game 2.
Nick, I believe one component, we talk about home and away, but we haven't talked about the fan base in Houston. Now, you're talking about a great experience, in-game entertainment. Houston is second to none. But those fans, you need to play your part. Like, you want to have a parade?
I'm so glad you said
Man,
that.
if you want to have a parade in a couple weeks, next month, if you want to have a parade, man, that first quarter,
you got to show up.
Man, you got to show. You got to bombard them with noise. You can't let Golden State get comfortable before they go back to Oregon.
Houston is a late arriving, passive crowd. It is I'll be honest, in 2017-18, the weakest part of the Rockets is their home court advantage. It was Game 5, closeout game against the Jazz, and the lower bowl for the first quarter was 40% full. For a place I lived for 5 years, it was embarrassing. The Rockets fans should take it as a challenge. Show up to that stadium early. You heard Utah down 30, louder than the Toyota Center is often when the Rockets are up 15. Those fans need to step up to give the Rockets the best chance. Go ahead, Jen.
So you're looking at this team. The game that James Harden didn't play well when he was sick, when he was under the weather, Chris Paul came out and scored 40-something, 41 points, whatever it was. We can't count on Chris Paul to score that many points when James Harden isn't there. You made a good point. James Harden has to play lights out every game for this to happen. If the Warriors have 2 of their big 4 that don't play lights out, they're still okay, and you believe that they're still okay. But if Chris Paul and, forget Clint, but if Chris Paul and James Harden say don't play fantastic games, how do they have a shot against the Warriors?
I still believe that they're role players, that either being P.J. Tucker, that being Gordon, Trevor Ariza. I just believe those players. And then I just believe the player that's going to be the secret weapon is going to be the player that Kevin Durant called out. I believe that right there, those words that he said to Clint Capella, as far as, oh, he's the guy talking because his job is easy, I look for him to be big in this series. Golden State loves to play small. Houston's got to make them pay with Capella.
To answer your question, yes, ideally Harden and CP3 play great the entirety of this series, all 7 games if it goes that long. And Harden, for the Houston to have a chance, he has to play at his MVP level. The path to victory for a single game for the Rockets, if one of those guys is off, is have one of your 21 of 47 from 3 nights. Have one of your just bombard them because Eric Gordon goes 6 for 8 and Ariza goes 4 of 7 and Gerald Green comes off the bench and goes 4 for 9. Like, have one of those nights where you can't miss from 3. That's one of the paths to victories. It's not the widest path, but it exists for him.
All right, if you weren't happy with the way the Eastern Conference Finals played out last year, don't worry about it. We're doing it again this year. Same stage.